Can I get a glass of water? I'm serious. I'm thirsty. Can I get a glass of water? This is not a prank. You never seen it?
No.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Oh,
it's amazing.
no.
He gets a glass of Flint tap water, and I swear to God, he drinks it like this.
Problem
He's
is solved?
bullshitting the world. Watch this.
Can I get some water? I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
Usually when something isn't a stunt, you have to say that.
Speaking of Barack Obama, he decided to drop a post on X today. And I thought, okay, maybe in the wake of the Pete Hegseth presser, he's going to say something like, no matter how you feel about the Iranian strike, hats off to our, boys in blue, our guys in the bombers. He went a different way. This is what it was.
I'm curious how you're thinking about this eulogy specifically in the moment and all the tensions that you just brought out.
I didn't even want to talk. I was so mad. Part of the reason I think I ended up having
Barack Obama's polished persona just took a hilarious takedown thanks to Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly. With no filter and total impact, they slice through the pretense, reveal the conflicts, and flip his history into a blooper reel. Of public drama, no script can shield him today. Just blunt, brutal facts packed with sharp comedy. If you believed Obama's glow could dodge the backlash, this moment shows the glares now punching cracks through the mask.
Remember when they gave that speech, when he gave a speech on television, and everybody was like, this. And then they were, it kind of just went away.
It was one of the most beautiful moments in modern American history. People really actually stood up and
We'll be remiss if we do not do at least one clip from the Barack Michelle Obama appearance, the podcast, because everybody thinks they're getting a divorce. And let's face it, they probably are. She dragged him onto her show with brother Craig.
Barack Obama could host a TED Talk on tying his shoes and still magically sound like he's curing cancer while gliding on a wave of smug elegance. And as he coasts through life on a cushion of book sales and recycled rhetoric, Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly just deflated that puffed-up image with wordplay sharper than Michelle's arms. This wasn't a gentle jab. This was a verbal wrecking. Ball was zero tolerance for scripted charm or that worn-out presidential glow.
Children.
And in fact, a lot of what they campaigned on, they don't practice at all. Great example is the Obama administration. The Hope and Change website had to be changed because there was a bunch of stuff in there about whistleblowers.
No, I don't think Mr. Snowden was a patriot. I called for a thorough review of our surveillance operations before Mr. Snowden made these leaks. My preference would have been for a lawful, orderly examination of these laws.
Protecting whistleblowers, which they didn't do at all. It was one of the worst administrations for whistleblowers.
No, I don't think Mr. Snowden was heroic. I pushed for a full audit of our intel programs before Snowden ever exposed anything. I'd have preferred a legal, structured review of those statutes, defending leakers, which they utterly failed at. That was one of the worst eras for truth-tellers. Let's begin with Joe Rogan, a guy who's spoken with brain experts, cage fighters, comics, astronauts, and that random dude who snacks on bull testicles. And even he couldn't ignore the freshly pressed myth of Obama's legend, you'd expect. A past president to be above Rogan's radar. But when your post-White House hustle feels like merch drops dressed in worn campaign buzzwords, your target practice, Rogan focused on the absurdity of a man who once claimed to get the people, then quickly vanished into a maze of looks compounds. Chartered planes and glossy magazine shoots with his wife striking poses like royalty in waiting.
Definitely not helping the Democrats knowing what we now have confirmed about Biden.
Give me some volume and go full screen.
what you know now. Do you wish you had a third term? You know what? If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
We know he wasn't really running the country. Yeah. We used to think he was actually running the country, and now they're like, no, he didn't even see those executive orders. That was all auto.
For a while, Obama was busy stacking trophies for just existing. Megyn Kelly wasn't about to let that story glide. She jumped in hard with her trademark tone, part journalist, part fierce prosecutor, part tired mom who just caught her teen watching TV instead of studying. She broke down the Obama years like a walk-in closet packed with crisp suits that somehow Stayed trendy while collecting dust. Her favorite target? That shiny illusion of Obama as the perfect, sacred beacon of hope, progress, and endless insight. Spoiler, Megyn tore that apart with the precision of an airport agent spotting a mystery gel.
Like, maybe it's the old sperm, maybe it's not the vaccine that's causing the autism.
Yeah,
you know, why don't you look at that?
They'll never let that secret
good
out.
Good luck with that one.
That may be the key behind all the defunding everything.
What? What is this? This is just some grievance fest again with two of the most privileged women on earth who are really bitter against.
And don't get it confused. They didn't pull punches on Michelle either. If Barack was the brand's voice, Michelle was the PR squad, head stylist, and wellness coach all in one. It's not just that she turned kale into a national sentence. No, she did it while scolding kids into choking down school quinoa as her own crew feasted on 5-star plates at formal galas. She gave a talk on fairness while rocking shoes that cost more than most folks earn in 7 days. But please, go on about hardship.
Said that Michelle Obama was a man before she died.
Was that a joke? I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, but the way she said it wasn't like jokey. She was like, oh, come on, everybody knows Michelle Obama's the man. Like, remember that?
Yeah, like with Big Mike.
Rogan grabbed that double standard and fed it straight to the shredder. Nothing screams working class empathy like turning your post-presidency life into a deluxe getaway that stops only for branded content and book launches. Rogan didn't just mention the image, he tore it apart like a flashy home gym that looked fierce online until someone lifted the bar and found it was plastic. The Obamas flipped civil service into a lifestyle logo, and Rogan handled it like those health gurus claiming you can beat burnout with sage mist and 5 jumping jacks. Megyn, on the flip side, dragged Obama's overseas calls like they were team assignments he ditched, but still aced credit for. She spotlighted the Peace Prize mess like it was the first gag of a roast. And when you score a peace medal before doing anything peaceful, it starts to sound less like prestige and more like a trophy for not being Dick Cheney.
On a great subject, which is like these rich and powerful people who are totally unaware of how people perceive them and how great their lives are and how little they should be complaining, period, never mind publicly. Which leads me to Michelle Obama. Every day she's dropped another negativity bomb on us, whether on her podcast or on someone else's. I mean, this audience knows she never says anything positive. It is all complaints. So she goes on another podcast. She's promoting her show, so she's making the rounds. The Diary of a CEO.
And that Peace Prize aged about as gracefully as a MySpace password. She went after the spy state like she had a badge and a warrant. Remember when Obama ramped up surveillance while grinning for cameras like he was guest hosting Sesame Street? Yeah, Megyn didn't forget. She laid it out with the clarity of someone who reads redacted files, not just vibes and glossy throwbacks. Turns out, hope and change sometimes shows up with metadata grabs and airstrikes. Rogan caught that torch and charged headfirst into Obama's Hollywood afterglow. The talk shows, the docuseries, the voiceovers soaked in nostalgia. It's like, he's gunning for an Oscar in the retired president category. Rogan roasted the soft questions lobbed by late-night hosts like they were tossing marshmallows at a birthday bash for tech CEOs.
To have you both in the same room together.
I know, because when we aren't, folks think we're divorced.
These are the kinds of things that I just miss, right? So I don't even know this stuff's going on.
Right.
And then somebody will mention it to me and I'm all like, what are you talking about?
People think that they're on the outs because they're not always in the same room together, Maureen. That's what she would like people to believe. Like she had what, 1 or 2 public appearances without him, and that's what led to the divorce speculation. That's not quite it, my dear. It's what are the things? Oh, your words. It's your words.
How can someone feel so down to earth while living miles above the people he swears he relates to? Barack speaks on the working class like he's narrating a documentary about a species he skimmed once in a policy seminar. Megyn tore into that patronizing aura that trails Obama like he's a walking TED Talk reel. Slick, practiced, and strangely hollow if you actually listen. He's the only person who can speak for a quarter hour and still get cheers like he just invented penicillin. Meanwhile, the facts paint another picture. Deportation stats that would floor half his base. Quiet escalations overseas and rifts at home so wide you could fit a parade route through them. Then came the cash trail. Oh, that sweet post-White House paycheck path. Rogan laughed at the fee list like it personally mocked anyone clocking in daily. 6-figure speeches just to deliver a keynoted version of what I learned from being famous.
Instant affectation, like, oh, my man. And like she doubles down in the following clip. It's just over the top. And here it is, 37.
There hasn't been one moment in our marriage where I thought about quitting my man. And we've had some really hard times, so we have had a lot of fun times, a lot of adventures, and I have become a better person because of the man I'm married to.
There ain't been 1 minute when I thought about quitting my man. She doesn't talk like that, right? Who does she think she's kidding? It's quitting, like it has no T's or a G. My man. Okay, she's like, there's something going on there where she's really acting in order to be like down home and I love my man and trust me, and like the whole thing to me looked like a complete
Megyn poured more gasoline on the fire by calling out how the Obamas once hailed as voices for the people cashed in on the same powerhouses they used to critique. Big banks, legacy news, mega publishers. That outsider story vanished quicker than an Obama-era promise. And Michelle? She wasn't spared from the financial roast. She's not just a former first lady. She's a label, a franchise, a vision. Bored in yoga pants. But while she tells Americans to be kind, Rogan reminded us their real skill is Olympic tier. Mental flips preaching modesty while gliding between estates. Rogan cracked that they probably rehearsed those empathy lines while interns cool them off with organic grocery bags. Megyn closed the chapter by shredding the fame circus that followed Obama from DC to Hollywood light. America didn't elect just a politician. They anointed a cultural icon. But behind the smooth talk, there was weak policy, curated virtue, and a loop of applause-worthy speeches that led nowhere. Obama was like the ultimate hype man who fires you up then forgets your bills exist.
More fuel on the fire that there's a potential, maybe a divorce or some sort of rockiness going on in the Obamas' relationship. They both posted these mirrored, very choreographed Valentine's Day messages on X, but he was just seen at an LA, it's the basketball team. What's it called? I can't remember the name. The Clippers, thank you. Game without her. And the LA Clippers. And then with Steve Ballmer, who's the owner, he's been on this show. And then on Tuesday, he was spotted eating out at a fancy dinner in Sherman Oaks with his both daughters, Malia and Sasha, but again, no Michelle, according to TMZ. So
I think they seem to be soft launch.
And despite the glowing headlines and throwback tributes, Joe and Megyn highlighted the plain reality. The chaos we face today didn't begin with Trump meltdowns or Biden gaffes. It was quietly nurtured during the Obama era under the soft filter of grace and charisma. You can't exit stage left like the chill sub who only came in with popcorn and a DVD. When you run the show for nearly a decade, you don't get to say you were just along for the ride. Megyn reminded folks that leadership isn't about vibes, it's about results. And under Obama, plenty unfolded behind curtains, beyond the charm, behind those award show smiles. And now, as he coasts like a retired icon still pitching action figures, Megyn and Rogan drove the point home. The legend's time is up. Barack can still command applause with a pause and a look, but the echo is wearing thin. With Rogan's blunt critique and Megyn's precise sass, the polish is peeling fast. They didn't just shatter the myth, they cleared the set, killed the backlights, and left the script in flames.
Also out on David Geffen's yacht with Oprah. And then, her memoir was named Becoming. Look at me, Becoming, with her big face on the front. Like, okay, she's a little drunk on her own wine, but not on Barack's, which is just interesting to me. At this point, after having been First Lady twice, thanks to him. Let's face it, Michelle Obama was not some star in her own right. She was a lawyer, I think at Sidley and Austin in Chicago.
And just when it felt like the roast was cooling off, Rogan leaned in harder, aiming at Obama's obsession with legacy. Because nothing screams authenticity like obsessively curating your Wikipedia page. While pretending you don't care what people think, Barack doesn't just want to be remembered fondly. He wants a Mount Rushmore bust in a Ken Burns documentary. Narrated by Morgan Freeman. He spent more time polishing his historical image than most people spend brushing their teeth in a year. Rogan mocked it with that deadpan disbelief only he can pull off. This is the guy who spent 8 years talking about transparency, then quietly slipped out the back door while his administration played cloak and dagger with press freedom and surveillance laws. But somehow people still act like he walked on water because he wore a tan suit and made Spotify playlists. Rogan wasn't having it. He laughed through the contradiction like it was the punchline of a bad joke America keeps pretending is profound. Megyn then jumped back in, torching the performative politics that followed the Obamas like a camera crew, broke down how Michelle became the queen of feel-good messaging while staying far away from anything politically messy or substantively uncomfortable. It's easy to sell unity when you never touch the chaos. It's like being the cleanest person at a food fight because you never showed up with a plate.
The last day, like when is it? When do they say you got to have your bags packed? You got to get out of here.
I don't know. I should find out.
Yeah.
No, it's actually amazing because they literally move all your stuff out in one day. You're living there, and then suddenly it's not all out on the South Lawn. I mean, they pack it up, but they will move it to wherever it is that you want to move it to. And so you're living in the White House up until Inauguration Day and inauguration.
And when Michelle steps up to preach about morals, it lands like a royal proclamation, ignoring the fact that she and Barack spent 8 years grinning through elegant dysfunction while their own party crumbled down ballot. Megyn didn't hold back. Speeches don't rebuild broken towns. Glitzy podcast cameos don't fix the urban schools they once promised to uplift. Meanwhile, Rogan stayed locked in on the cultural amnesia. The pedestal Obama still enjoys is shaped by charm, not depth. The voice, the walk, the smooth cadence that turns even bad headlines into poetry. But Rogan stripped the illusion. Pure spin. Political cologne masking the scent of backroom deals. The man could narrate a fire and still get applause for the flames. And the twist? His party is still sweeping up the soft wreckage he left behind. Fractures, fatigue, a whole generation chasing aesthetics over answers. The mess that birthed today's madness didn't show up overnight. It simmered under 8 years of feel-good speeches while quiet compromises happened off camera. Rogan and Megyn weren't subtle. They yanked the drapes wide open. And just like that, the legend took another hit. Not because they lied, but because they finally voiced what millions mutter when they spot Barack smiling on another splash screen. Time to end the nostalgia act. The credits are rolling,